Everybody can hear me now. For the most part, you guys got like the basics of the charting down. I'm assuming the whole um the support and resistance that we make on the longer time frames, right? Weekly, and then going on to the obviously going on to like the daily and the 4 hour charts. So just like how I'm making it on my screen right now, I'm only focused on the price range that Amazon is clearly able to like hit. So I'm not gonna be focused on anything lower than here. Like I don't really care about what's gonna go on under this what is that square? I don't really care what goes on here. Why is it doing that? Anyways, anything under 2,600, 2,900, I don't really care, right? Because we're all the way over here. We're at 3,500 right now. So when you're making your support and your resistance, or when you're charting and stuff, just focus on the price range that it's currently in, right? Because there's no way it's gonna go below 3,000 anytime soon. So just keep that in mind. You don't waste time making lines down here where you don't need to. So I'm only gonna focus on what goes in between 3,700 and 3,100, for example. Right now, what I'm gonna do is one second. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make so before I even show you guys the indicators that I use, right? I'm gonna kind of give you a breakdown of what's going on with Amazon so that you can see it as well. So just to give you an idea, right? We've been bouncing off of this range for a while now. Okay, so I'm going to color this orange just so I know that it's like a significant level, right? This orange, the first orange on the top, what does this signify? Who can tell me, you know, what does this orange line mean at the top? It's a resistance level. It's where there are a lot of sellers who come in, right? So here down here, it's a lot of buyers who came in, right? So buyers, 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 sellers, sellers, right? It wasn't until around May of this year that the buyers kind of pushed the price up. So the support, right? The support is no longer at 2,900, but now the support is at around 3,200. So 3,188 level here. That's where the support is now. So you have to take that into consideration, right? Now that the buyers have kind of, do you guys think from Amazon going from 2,900 to 3,200, do you think that more buyers came, or there are less sellers? I mean, kind of, it's almost the same thing, but it's like more buyers. I want to tell you that it's like more buyers ended up coming into the stock, right? Not necessarily the less sellers, because as you can see, we kind of like we sold off from 3,700 here, and we still kept selling off after at 3,500. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm assuming, right, just based on reading charts and stuff, we're assuming that buyers are in control. Okay, so just because it hit the resistance, it doesn't mean that it's gonna keep going back down, right? Even though it went back down here, it went back down here. I'm going to be on more of the bullish side of this because, right, we didn't end up getting pushed back down to 2,900, right? We're in the middle, right? So the buyers are still in control. If you can, if you think of it that way, then you can think of it as if the buyers are still in control. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. The fact that we didn't get pushed all the way down to 2,900 is not telling me that, oh fuck, now I need to go buy, now I need to go short, right? No, because now we're creating higher lows, right? The sellers are still there, trust me, but the buyers are still in control, in my opinion. So, and this is a weekly time frame, so this is even it's even better to look at, right? Because every single candle represents a week. Now, one more thing that you want to kind of understand is like this. So these two candles that you see, right? These two candles, how many weeks is that? How long did it take Amazon to go from 3188 to 3500? It took 2 weeks. How about here? How long did it take Amazon here from 3188 to go all the way up to 3500? Took about 4 weeks. How about here? Right from here, from this push to this, we didn't even go all the way up. Right from here to here, maybe almost 3, but we sold off on the third week. This, right? 1, 2, 3, we sold off. Here we have a clear, right? Does the candle here look better than the candles there? Is what I'm saying. Does it look like a better push up in the last 2 weeks than before? Okay. Now, another thing that you should kind of oh take into account are the volumes on the bottom, right? How is the volume? Is the volume pushing up from the previous low, right? Everything you have to take into consideration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one of my studies that I use, which is you go here. It's a stochastic slow oscillator. Right. That's what it looks like when you have the stochastic slow on. Okay, you're just looking at this bottom part right here, bottom portion. Right. Now, this looks similar to an RSI if you've ever used that before, but it's not. It's not an RSI. It's called stochastics, right? Stochastics measure momentum. So what they use is we use the red line, which is the slow K, and then we use the purple line, which is the slow D, and we wait for crossovers, right? But usually, what we're usually looking for is if the momentum is down here and it's crossing up, that means that we might see a bounce, right? Now, how many of you here have tried using RSIs before? And I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna show you that it's easy to spot the difference between the two. So, right, if you're using an RSI, anything above the top line here, the top oscillator, what does that mean for the stock price if you're using an RSI? If you're using an RSI and you had the line above the top oscillator, what does that mean? It's usually overbought, right? Here, when it's above, it means that the momentum of the buyers is strong. You see how look, literally we hit the top of the oscillator here, right there, right? And then we just stayed on top of this bar and the price just kept shooting up and shooting up and shooting up and shooting up, right? Until we got this reversal here. Now, just look at this. Sorry, I have to sneeze. Look at the reversal up here. I'm gonna remove this. And then look at this crossover. So now you have this, right? If you are using a daily chart, it would be more predictable in my opinion if you're using a daily chart, right? Because if you had known that, if you had bet against this, if you had puts from 3,500 and you kind of held it all the way down here to 2,900, do you think you would have banked and made a lot of money? You would have made a shit ton of money, right? Now, when it comes to these crossovers, I'm only reliant on these crossovers if they're at a support level and if they're crossing together. Does that make sense? So here we're at support and then now we're crossing up. So I'm assuming that the price is going to bounce up, right? Only when we're at support and or resistance levels. Now, this line right here, this crossover here, if we're going to try to bet on puts on this candle here, on these two, on this level here, would this be a good buy or no compared to the last one? Why would this not be a good buy compared to the last one? Why is this one a better buy to the upside than this is a better buy to the downside? So the candle, so the price of the stock has to be at an, just like what GD is saying, the price of the stock has to be at an established level, right? This is an established level for a reversal up because every single time we hit this level, we're bouncing up. This is not an established level for the stock to go down. Does that make sense? Because we haven't established this 3188 as a resistance line yet. Okay. And usually when I'm trading bounces, right, I would want the stock to do this, to bounce here and then come up here, and then possibly, I might think about buying into the other side. But what if it's just, at a normal level like this, I wouldn't even try to do that. Okay. Does that make sense? Now, what I'm waiting for is for me to go longer on Amazon. I'm waiting for these two to cross, right? Remember, last time, the first two classes that we had when we were talking about Amazon the whole time, how it ran, it was trying to fill that gap. Was I right or was I wrong? Did we not fill the gap? Did anybody trade this, filling the gap up? I made like, I don't know, like 70, 80K just fucking trading that gap up. You gotta, you guys have to kind of, in my opinion, some people are like, oh, I don't know, I'm not that good yet at this and this and this. Therefore, you don't trade certain levels or you don't trade a certain way. But in my opinion, it's like sometimes you have to try to risk things for yourself. Does that make sense? Like you don't have to be good at this to try to risk money. That's what I tell people. You're only gonna get good at this if you keep doing it, right? You can't just fucking listen to me and think you're gonna get good just by listening to me just because I know what I'm doing. Because for all you know, I could be talking out of my ass right now, and I just sound like I know what I'm doing. And you wouldn't think I wouldn't know what I'm doing. You have to try it for yourself, and sometimes you have to take that step and kind of just risk it, because that's what this game is about, risking money, right? Now, I think that Amazon is gonna keep going up. I hope, right? I don't think it's gonna go to 33.74, but if it does, right, then that's our support level, right? Because that's where the resistance was, right? That's what we broke through. So now we're expecting buyers around 33.74. And what I could do is I could make a box here that about yay big and highlight it green, telling myself that that's an area of support. Does that make sense? If you guys find areas of support like this, try to see if you can, just try to highlight it in green like this so you know. Because sometimes it won't happen as fast as you would want it to, but when it does happen, you know where to buy into. Now let's go to why I think Amazon's gonna keep going up. So on the 4-hour chart, On the 4-hour chart, we have a potential crossover. Okay, we have a potential crossover on the stochastics. And we have a bull flag. Where is my buy-in area? For those of you who want a day trading strategy, I'm going to show you right now. Okay, just pay attention. All right. Where am I buying on this level here? Where am I going to buy my calls at? At what just guess at what price I'm going to buy it at. I'm going to make my line above around here. Who got it right? Why am I buying it here? Because on the 4-hour, this is where the resistance is. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the best area for me to buy into the stock right now. For a call. It's going to be my best bet. So on Monday, so tomorrow, I'm going to buy above 34.84. Where is my first profit target? For a call. First profit target is going to be up here. So that's around, a $30 move I can try to capture. $30 or $40, something like that. Why is this a potentially good trade? Because the stochastics is also pointing up, meaning the momentum is potentially shifting, right? It's shifting from the downside now to the upside. Okay. Go to Facebook. Anyone have any questions so far? Like, are you getting everything I'm saying? And by the way, I'm probably gonna end the class on September 20th, so like another 14 days because I wasn't here. So I think that's better instead of I think September 20th is perfect. What does you use stochastics instead of RSI? RSIs, I don't like RSIs. I don't like the RSIs and I don't like what it kind of it just doesn't. How many of you have used RSIs and it just doesn't go through with what you think is gonna happen? It literally just doesn't. I don't like it because it doesn't tell me what I want to see. Something is like, for example, right? I'm not gonna put it on, but if you put on an RSI right now and you backtrack, you go to SPY, you look at the yearly chart, it'll tell you that SPY has been overbought for fucking like the last 4 years. So when is it gonna go down? Right? It's like one of those things. It just depends on, and certain indicators can work depending on your strategy and depending on how you want to go, how you want to approach your trading. So that's up to you. But in my opinion, I don't think the RSI is good at all because I've tried it and it's made me lose a bunch of times. I don't really like that. So looking at Facebook, I'm gonna show you guys how to kind of look at stocks and how to kind of get an idea of whether it's like an appealing stock to trade. So looking at Facebook here, if I'm looking at the weekly here, how can I figure out whether the stock is appealing or not to trade? Right? First of all, I want to see on the momentum where we're at, right? And sometimes you guys know how many of you guys know how many sectors there are in the market? There are 12 sectors in the market, right? There are 12 sectors. Can anyone name some of them? There's like, the tech sector, the health sector. So all these different stock sectors, right? There is this thing called sector rotation, meaning at one point or another, one sector is gonna go crazy. Meaning, if we're looking at tech, then that means Facebook, Apple, Amazon's gonna have its run, and then we're gonna shift to another sector, right? Depending on the season or whatnot, things like that, right? So sometimes I can kind of see, okay, Facebook's been running for this long, right? It's too much of a risk, in my opinion, to try to swing Facebook to the upside right now. Does anyone think the same thing? Because if I'm looking at the weekly and if I'm gonna start making patterns and stuff, right? I can already tell that we're overextended, right? Who knows about the flag, the pull of the flag and the flag and the distance between the, how much a stock can potentially go up after it breaks out of a pattern, right? So if you have a bull flag that goes like this, right? Price going up and then price slows down and then the price breaks out again. Usually the length of the breakout is the length of this pull right here, right? Usually after that, it slows down. Now, Alex says, why not swing puts? Why should I swing puts if nothing is telling me that I should swing puts? That means I'm just blindly putting money down, right? I'm only swinging puts if it breaks below a certain level, right? And what level is that if I'm looking at this on a weekly? I'm going to swing puts under here. This is the only level where I'll swing puts under. Does that make sense? Now, if we want to throw in some moving averages into the picture, let's add on the 9 and let's add on the 21. So my 9 EMA is going to be the blue one, and my 21 EMA is going to be the red one. I'm only going to swing if I see this blue line cross below the red line around this level. And it'll happen. If we break down on Facebook, it's gonna cross somewhere near there. That's when I'm gonna think about swinging puts, right? But I don't even need to focus on Facebook right now because I can find other stocks that look, just as appealing as that one, just as appealing as Amazon. Just look at Netflix, for example. I don't know why my computer is slow, but okay. Let me show you why Netflix, in my opinion, is a good buy right now. Does anyone see what's happening here? Netflix was in a range for the past year and some change. For the past year and some change, it's been in a range and it's finally broken out of the range. Okay. I mean, the last time we kind of the stochastics kind of broke above its level, right? We kind of had a nice continuation. We had a nice little push, right? Now our stochastic level is here, meaning that there is a strong momentum on the buy side. So how am I going to go about this trade if I want to trade it, right? Obviously, from the weekly perspective, I'm bullish. Now I got to see what's happening on the daily, right? If the daily looks like this, right, I can tell that, hey, this can potentially reach back down here. Of course, it can potentially do that, but it can also keep going up. How do I know which one to choose from, right? How do I know whether I should I wait for this to go down and hit here and then fucking buy it as it bounces up? I'm gonna try to see what it does next, right? Because the only way you're gonna tell what you're supposed to do next is once you wait for the candles to form. Okay. If you look at here, right, you can see how the candle started kind of breaking down. And then if we finally went to where the top of the pattern is, right? But before that, right, you can kind of see the way the stochastics are moving, right? This is going up and then this is going down, right? Meaning the momentum is already slowing down. When the momentum indicator does this, right? When the red goes down and the purple starts going up, what does that mean? I almost just said it, but that means that the momentum is clearly slowing down, right? It's trying to shift, right? Now, if you're gonna use the stochastics, right, in that manner, then here, right, over here we had the momentum kind of slowing down, right? Boom, it was slowing down, but the buyers are still strong. But now, right, what's happening here? We're trying to shift back up again. Okay. Now, is there a pattern that you see on the stock? We have kind of a bullish pattern going to the upside. Okay. So when it comes to Netflix, right? When it comes to Netflix, that means I'm bullish now. Okay. Now, if I'm bullish on Netflix and Amazon together, right? They both look like they're bullish. Now, my optimism for the stock market tomorrow is going to be what? Like, what am I gonna expect out of the market tomorrow? I'm gonna be expecting a push up from a lot of stocks, because if I'm already looking at one of the two biggest names in the market, right, and I'm already thinking that they're gonna make bullish runs, then everything else should follow, in my opinion. There are gonna be some stocks that are slowed down, that are lagging, right? But for the most part, if I'm gonna be focused on Netflix and Amazon together, then I think that the market can continue to push up tomorrow. Let's go look at Tesla. Anybody watching Tesla at all? What's going on? So with Tesla, the momentum is still strong with Tesla as well. Okay, so you guys need to start paying attention to these names, because we're making pushes now, right? We're breaking out of consolidations. That's what's happening. The main time frame I usually trade in is a 4 hour or 15 minute or 5 minute. But the only reason why I'm using a weekly and a daily is so that I can get an idea of where the stock is gonna go. If I'm gonna swing something, I'm gonna make sure that on the weekly chart or on the daily chart, it's worth it for me to swing. Okay, Tesla, easy. On the freaking daily, it's breaking out of the flag, right? What did we have recently, right? What did we have recently here? There are two things I want you to focus on here, right? And this is what's called a systematic approach to your trading, right? First, you have the shift in momentum, okay? Once you have the shift in momentum, you have a crossover that follows after that, right? Usually, if you want to get really systematic with it, right, what you're gonna look at is where you're gonna try to find is you're gonna try to find a pattern where the EMAs cross over and break out, So now you have A, B, and C. What is A? The momentum shift. What is B? What is B? Is B the pattern or the crossover? The B is the pattern and C is the crossover, right? That's what you call a systematic approach when you're trading, okay? You have the momentum, then the pattern, then the breakout. The breakout is when the EMAs cross over together, okay? If I'm gonna trade this tomorrow, Tesla, right? I'm gonna start moving on to the lower time frames, like right here. This is perfect, right? What can I see right here? Why is this such a good thing to trade tomorrow? I guarantee you this thing can push up tomorrow. How many of you made money on that Amazon run that we mentioned? Someone here made like 3K. I don't know who made 3K. Someone made 3K. That was insane. Good for you. This is another banger that you can kind of get tomorrow. So if you want to make money tomorrow, this is going to be a banger, in my opinion. Because just look at the 4 hour, right? We're still breaking out of that pattern. Because if you look at the bigger picture, why is my computer doing this? If you look at the bigger picture, we haven't even really broken out of this big flag yet, right? But now if you want to look at it from a 15-minute perspective, right? It's just a little bull flag, right? Where's my entry point gonna be here? The previous high, so around here, right? Where's my first profit target gonna be? Around here. Now, how many of you are wondering, okay, what if my first profit target and my second profit target is like $1 apart? What that does is that gives you room to exit and re-enter. Okay, that gives you room to exit and re-enter. Why do I say re-enter? Is because if Tesla has an average movement of $15 a day and it's only moved $4 today, you have to understand that when these stocks move, right, they usually follow what's called an ATR, right? What is an ATR? An ATR is an average true range. So usually a lot of these stocks have an average true range that they follow every single day. So every single day they're gonna follow a certain true range. How do I look? How do I figure out the true range of names of stocks? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go look at the daily chart, right? So if I'm gonna go back, I would just say go back 3 months. So from June, right? From June till September. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to measure how much it goes up every day. So from here, from 602 to 573, that's like what? Oh, it's like $20. This one's from 599 to 578. That's like 599. That's $20 as well, around 20. 608 to 584. Still on the high 15s to 20 side. 622 to 596, same thing, right? You don't have to go through every single one of them. You can kind of skip some. This one's 656, 629, same thing. 681, 653, right? How many just by the past, just by looking at the last 6 or 7, how many in dollars does Tesla usually move per day, whether it be up or down? It can be, I want to say like 18 to 30, right? Now, if I know that this thing can move 18 to $30, right? And just like, how we were just looking at it right now. And if my entry is going to be if my entry is gonna be 737 and my first exit is gonna be 741, right? That's only a $4 move, right? That's when I shift back to the longer time frame. So I'm gonna go 30-minute this time. If I can't see anything on the left where it kind of was at a higher point before, I'm gonna keep going back to see where I can find the next resistance. In this case, I have to use a daily chart, and then I'm gonna have to use one of these points from before to figure out where my next resistance is. So according to this, it's gonna be around 750, right? So that means from 737, right? If it doesn't stop at 741, in which tomorrow's case it shouldn't, from 737 to 750, is that a good enough trade for you to kind of make good money on tomorrow on Tesla? Right? You find that out just through figuring out the ATR of the stock. So you can do this you can use this method with any other names. I like to find ATRs of every single stock that I trade, so I understand and I kind of know, you know, where the stock might go. One other name that we want to look at is Boeing. So you want to, if you guys have time later after this class, you should kind of browse through different stocks and see which one is ranging, because there's like, you don't want to miss these types of breakouts. Okay, these types of breakouts are pretty lethal, in my opinion. You can capture a lot of the Vega on these moves. Does that make sense when I say that? When you're capturing a stock that has not broken out of the pattern yet, you're essentially buying it for a lower premium, right? How'd you get the square transparent? You just pick, go to edit properties and you just pick a color that's transparent. But since, the reason why sometimes I get these higher percentage trades is because when I'm looking at these names, okay, I'm trying to see which one is ranging, and I'm trying to see which one I can catch for the breakout. Because if I'm buying it at a lower premium, that means my Vega, right? So let's say you buy it here. You buy it at the breakout. Okay, let's make an imaginary candle. Let's say you catch this candle right here. Okay. When you bought this down here before the breakout, this thing had a 20% implied volatility. And then, let's say Sandy, who's late to the party, buys it up here at 70% IV, right? You're buying the contract here for, I want to say, let's say you buy the contract here at $1, and then you sell it up here. I mean, not sell it. Sandy buys it up here, and it's already at fucking $6. Does that make sense on how the premium goes up? The premium goes up more when you catch breakouts like this. Because when you're buying it at this level, you're buying it at a level where not a lot of people are still interested in buying that. Because usually people like to buy it when it's fully out, right? But that's why we use things like the stochastics here, right? Just look at it. I want you guys to pay attention to every single time, right? Here. Okay, this is the bottom of the range. Pay attention, right? This is the bottom of the range. Every single time we hit the bottom of the range, every single time we hit the bottom of the range-ish, what happens? Did this thing not repeat itself 4 different times? The momentum shifts every time, right? And usually, the more times it's try to break out, especially after 3 times, 3 or 4 times, the next time it does that, it should shoot up tremendously, right? And what else is gonna help me figure out whether if I swung this to the upside, right? Who else? I mean, what else can help me figure out whether the stock is gonna keep going up or not? Volume, key levels, and also you have to look at news of stocks, right? You guys have to pay attention to the news. Why shouldn't I swing calls now? Well, there is literally nothing that's telling me to buy it up yet, right? Because look, what happened every single time? If I'm gonna go systematic, what happens every single time? And Logan, do you use level 2? Yeah, I'll use level 2 for day trading, but why should I use this? Listen, if I'm gonna swing this to the upside, do I need to use a level 2? Do I need to use? Am I gonna read the tape to figure out whether $50 million of Boeing is gonna get bought up the next 3 weeks? No, right? There's no point. I'm not gonna just sit there for the next 3 months looking at the screen, right? So what am I waiting now? What am I waiting for now? If I'm gonna use a systematic approach to this trade, what am I waiting for? I'm waiting for the confirmation, which is the crossover on the EMA, right? The support level changed. You guys didn't see that already? Support level changed, right? We have higher lows, right? The higher the low, the bigger the breakout. That's like one way to think about this thing, okay? After this class, I also have something to give you guys. I was gonna give it to you the last time, but some stupid shit happened to me. Let's look at one last name. Google is a good name to look at the trade as well. Not a lot of people trade Google because the volume isn't there most of the time. But when you have setups like this, you need to take advantage of it, right? The momentum is still strong on Google, as you can see, right? This thing isn't even close to the up yet, right? Then you have this pin bar right there showing you that the bull flag, right? The buyers have come in at the bottom of the flag. So what am I gonna do? Right? This is where the buyers are. If we have a nice push tomorrow, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up swinging this as well. I'm telling you, I think that this is a good time to swing stocks to the upside. I think this is the perfect time. So for Google tomorrow, if I'm gonna swing it, what am I gonna wait for? I'm gonna wait for the EMAs to cross up, right? We have a whole day from tonight to tomorrow to see whether the EMA is gonna cross up. So if the EMAs end up crossing on Google, right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna end up buying it to the upside and we're gonna swing it. But BA, I think BA can be a really good, really good swing to take to the upside. I think it's perfect. Just look at this. Just look at the chart, right? The weekly chart. What's the weekly chart doing? What is it doing? Every like 2 weeks, every like month, every month or two, it's making higher and higher.